Someone once said to me, how did you manage to go to 7 countries in 7 consecutive days? Did you take a boat or cruise? I said, no bitch, I went on one plane. Hey guys, it's story time, and this time I will be telling you about how I managed to go to 7 countries in 7 days on one plane. So I'm cool with this really cool chick. Like, she's beautiful, she's tall, she's Bayesian. I mean, she's like a really big star. You guys might have heard of her. Her name is Rihanna. And she had a tour back in 2012 called the 777 tour, which visited 7 countries in 7 days, and she did 7 shows in 7 consecutive days. So I knew about a tour coming up. I didn't know too much details. It was just all in talks. I didn't know that it was gonna be such a big thing. I knew that Rihanna wanted to do something that no one had ever done before. And she wanted to bring 150 journalists with her, plus her personal people, and just go all around the world and bust out shows. So one day, I didn't know that I was going, and one day I got a message from her, and she said, to get my stuff ready, because let school know or let my job know, because I was going on tour with her. And she had taken me, my friend Tamara, Johnny, and Lala. It was 4 of us that she invited personally to go on this tour. 4 fans, 4 of her friends, whatever. Time goes on. I don't know exactly when I'm leaving. I know it's coming up. I know it was in November, but I didn't know when I would be heading out. I didn't know where we would be leaving from, because I'm in New York. I live in New York. So I didn't know where will we be leaving from. I didn't know anything pretty much. So one day I'm just hanging out in my house, and I randomly get an email. And it's about, I want to say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon in New York. So I get an email saying that, basically it was my itinerary, saying that I was leaving to Los Angeles in less than 24 hours the next morning. Like around noon, my flight to Los Angeles left. Like, my itinerary was already booked. Everything was already set in stone. It was like, oh my God, this is like really happening, like tomorrow. At the time, I wasn't working, and I was just stressed, like, oh my God, how am I gonna, like, I need money. Like, I'm not just gonna go on this tour and like have anybody take care of me. Like, no. Push comes to shove, and we make things work like how we always do. And I'm off the next day to LA, and it was just so fucking amazing. This flight was the longest fucking flight ever. Oh my God, the longest flight ever. But it was because usually I sleep on planes, but usually I either get a morning flight or a night flight where it's easier for me to sleep. This flight was at 12:30 in the afternoon. And being that I guess they took care of our arrangements, last minute, all my friends and I were scattered around the plane. None of us were sitting together. So like, I'm like, that's the type of thing it was. But it was still fun. I think what made it so long, because from New York to LA is like a good 5.5, 6 hour flight. So I think what made it so much more longer is that I love California. Like, it's a dream of mine to move there. It's a dream of mine to just be there. So this was my first time going, and I was so excited. Like, oh my God. So we get to LA. Johnny and Lala had, some things to take care of, some last minute and running around. So while they were there, they were going to do that before we left. Me and Tamara at the time knew someone who lived there and was willing to show us around. When we visited the Hollywood Walk of Fame, I definitely had In-N-Out Burger, monster style. So we enjoyed that. We enjoyed the rest of our night. The next morning, we get our itinerary, and we all have to meet in the lobby. All the 150 journalists. There were journalists from everywhere, like from Canada, all over the United States. And I do know Nicole Bitchie was on the plane with us. She did the tour with us. It was just so chaotic, but we had our stops laid out. We had all our hotels laid out. They stationed us all in the same hotels, which is, they did a really amazing job organizing this tour. Like, kudos to them, because this was an amazing job that they did. So the first plane is to Mexico. So this is the first plane ride. This is like a fucking party bus. Like, no, I'm sorry, party plane. And it was just crazy. It's Ace of Spades bottles. It's just people partying. Because from LA to Mexico City where we went was only about 2 hours. That was probably like the best time I've ever had on a plane. Rihanna came. She showed us love. You know, she told me and my friends. She took pictures with us, showed us love, and gave us 2 Ace of Spades bottles.
Can you say lit?
We were tore up on that plane. We get to Mexico. It was all the rooms, the venues were general admission. So we just kind of hung out in that one and just enjoyed the show. They definitely warned us not to drink any of the water from Mexico. Make sure everything is bottled water. You know, just taking safety precautions. So we go to Mexico. The show is banging. This is the first time we see the show. So it's just like a set of all her hottest shit. And it was banging. We had a great time. Unfortunately, we didn't stay in Mexico though. We didn't stay overnight. Literally, we went to Mexico. We landed in Mexico. We went to the show. We went back to the plane and headed for the next country, which was Toronto. We went to Toronto, 6666666. So we went to Toronto, and it was cold. Yeah, hell yeah, man, it was cold as hell. That show was cool too. We actually didn't even stay the night in Toronto either. We went to Toronto. We did have a hotel room, but it was basically just to like shower and get our lives together, like for what's about to happen for the rest of this fucking tour. We showered, we had a good time. And we enjoyed the show, but we had to have everything ready before the show started, because from the show we were going straight back to the plane. Like, it was, you guys don't understand, it was non-stop, like you had to be on point. You had to have all your passport, make sure, you know, you can't lose nothing while you're in these countries, because then you're just asked out. The next stop on the tour is Stockholm, Sweden. Let me just say, I want to say that Sweden was the most memorable, unforgettable night on this tour. One, I found out that my bags had been lost. My luggage was gone. It was so sad. I was so sad. But I tried to stay a little bit optimistic, because they were telling me, you know, in the next country, you'll have it. You know, we'll have everything figured out by the time we get to the next country. So I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll deal. But at that point, I was already exhausted. I was so tired. So I managed to get a little nap in before the show at our hotel in Sweden, which was bomb and so beautiful. We go to the concert. No, wait. What happened was I had a really bad experience with McDonald's, and this is why I hate mayonnaise for life. Basically, I went to McDonald's and got a McChicken. By the way, they have buffalo wings in their McDonald's in Sweden, way before America did it. I had ordered a McChicken from McDonald's, and I went to go take a bite out of my McChicken, and mayonnaise oozed out of the fucking McChicken. And I've never felt the same about mayonnaise ever again. Wow, traumatic experience. So then my friend Tamara gets pissy drunk at the venue, you know, taking shots. At the time, I'm not gonna lie, I had an attitude because I just felt terrible. Like, I wanted to get my things. I felt everybody had their stuff, and I'm like, why did this have to happen to me? Out of all 150 people on this fucking plane, this has to happen to me? Boy, was I over it. But I tried to enjoy myself at the end of the night. Tamara gets drunk, and Johnny ends up taking her back to our hotel room. So she basically sleeps the whole concert. Let me tell you something. I don't know what happened. Johnny got lost. Lala got lost. Tamara was at the hotel. I was by myself. And boy, let me tell you, we had open bar. Being that we were with the tour, we had an open bar, which was, we just had a wristband for the open bar. And I got so drunk with the people of Sweden. God bless you all, because you were amazing to me that night. We partied together. We were all strangers, and we all partied together, and we had a good ass fucking time. It was amazing. That night, I was with complete strangers and had the time of my life. Okay, so then, like I said, I was by myself. Then I began to get a little scared, because I'm like, fuck, I'm in this random country by myself. They don't speak like my language. I don't speak their language, so there that goes. I managed to see some other people who were on the tour, and we ended up going back to the hotel together, thank God, because I'm not good with direction, so I don't know how I was getting back there at all. Being that I had slept earlier in the day before the show, I was completely up all night, and I was FaceTiming with my best friend the whole night. But we had to be ready to go to Paris at like 6 in the morning. And that's the thing, like, you had to be on time. It was no games. You had to be on time because there was a set schedule and they wasn't waiting for nobody but Rihanna, okay? This is her tour. Her name is on this bill. She's the headliner, okay? She's the only queen up in this bitch that we waiting for. So we get on the plane the next morning to go to Paris, and Tamara has the only hangover. She's throwing up in the bus. We go on the plane, she's throwing up in the back. It was so funny. I was like, damn girl, she ain't never fucked with Patron ever again after that. It was the Patron that did it to her, I'm telling you. So then we go to Paris. Paris was beautiful. Oh my God, it was like, wow. Paris was amazing. Paris was, wow. So we get to Paris. We do get another hotel room because we are going to spend the night in Paris. We definitely spent the night in Sweden, and we spent the night in Paris. We then go to the show. That show was bomb. We had like a little VIP area. That shit was bomb. We had like the most amazing time. It was like amazing. So after the show, me and Tamara didn't get to see the Eiffel Tower, which sucked because when you're in Paris, that's... Who the fuck doesn't go see the Eiffel Tower in Paris?
This guy.
So we didn't get to go. So me and Tamara went for a walk, and we went and got some food. We went to a really nice restaurant, and we had some nice food, and I really enjoyed it. I wasn't a fan of the Caesar dressing. That's really what I remember from that. It was a decent time. We walked the street. We actually walked. We walked the streets, and we saw, you know, we did see a lot of sightseeing, but we didn't get to see the Eiffel Tower. So I have to go back to Paris just to see the Eiffel Tower because I missed it 4 years ago. The next day, we have an early call. I think me and Tamara didn't go to bed till about 4 in the morning, but we had such an early call. Oh my God. I think it was 6, and then the next city was Germany. Boy, this was intense. So we get to Germany. This is one of the countries that we didn't stop in. When I mean stop, I mean we didn't spend the night there. It was literally like a get there, go to the show, get back on the plane. But let me tell you this. We're in Germany now. They lost my bag in Sweden. We went to Paris. I'm now in Germany, and I still don't have my bags. But what was so frustrating throughout this whole process with my bags was they kept telling me, oh, by the time we get to the next country, we'll have it. By the time we get to the next country, we'll have it. And I try not to get frustrated with them because this is not their fault, and they were doing the best that they can, and they predicted that I would have my things by the next day, but I didn't. So every time we went to another country, my anger was just going higher and higher and higher and higher. Like, I was just like, I need my bags, because at this point, I'm like, you guys don't know what my bags are, and I'm scared that, like, my bag is not only, like, just lost right now, but my bag is probably gone for good, like, stolen. I don't know if people, like, went in my shit. I don't know if people, you know what I'm saying? I had a lot of stuff. I had stuff packed for a week. Like, do you know how many things I had? I was so frustrated, so I was literally, thank God I had my carry-on, because, but then with that, all I had was literally like a few pairs of shirts, sweatpants, and leggings. Could you imagine how I felt like the only bum traveling in fucking all these countries with all these fly-ass people with only sweatpants and leggings? And as you can tell by the way this schedule was set up, I didn't have time to go shopping. Where the hell was I gonna go shopping at? So could you imagine the frustration I had? And you know, they started to feel a little bad for me. So they gave me an Adidas track jacket, a 777 track jacket. It's cute though, I still wear it. It's an Adidas jacket actually, but it just has a 777 logo on it. Like, that's how bad they felt for me, because they knew what I was going through. Like, they knew that I was like, this girl look like shit. Let's give her some fucking apparel. But Germany was fun. I really enjoyed that show. We went to some dinner after the show that was set up for us. It was some German food. No discrimination to my German people. Y'all the shit, but I really didn't enjoy that food. I was just like, yeah. Like, I'm sorry, I did not enjoy it. Second to last stop. I was really excited for this country. It was London. Who's not excited to go to London? Like, who doesn't want to go to London? It was so, oh my God, it was like beautiful, I feel like London was more beautiful than Paris for some reason. It was just so pretty. Like, what caught my eye was the little red phone booths. Oh my God, I was like, I definitely had to take a picture of that. That was cool because I got to see some UK Navy, you know, y'all know UK Navy. You Rihanna Navy, you know UK Navy. That was fun. I got to meet up with them, but at that point when we got to London really, really early in the morning. I want to say like 6, 7 in the morning. So by the time we got to London, I was so tired. I was so tired. Because throughout this whole tour, you're like drinking and partying the whole time with no sleep. And then every day you're in a different time zone. So your body is all fucked up. Like, it was the most craziest experience, but I would do it like again. I promise you I would. So by the time we get to London, I'm over it. I'm like, Tamara, I'm tired. I was so bummed out about my clothes. And then they wanted to go out and hang out. And I was like, I don't want to go out. I have on big baggy sweatpants with a fucking beanie on. I don't want to go out. I feel like shit. I look like shit. I don't want to go anywhere. So I just literally stayed in bed the whole day. And when I mean stayed in bed, I don't even just mean like I just chilled. No, bitch, I was asleep that whole day. I slept up until it was time for the show. Tamara went on the train. They met up with UK Navy. They went on the train. They got some food, Nando's. They got all of that. A part of me wishes that I should have just not been so grumpy and just sucked it up because I was in London. But I was just so tired. And then I think my anger from me not having my clothes was just a damper on me even more. And it just made me even more tired. I was just like, come on, really? But I did enjoy London. I know we had a beautiful hotel room in London. Like, that shit was probably the most prettiest hotel room I've ever stayed in my life. It was amazing. They really hooked us up. Shout out to y'all, because they hooked us up. So we go to the show, and again, we had to have our stuff ready. Well, I didn't really have to have anything ready because I had no fucking bag. We had to have everything ready because after the show, I know we were coming straight to New York. New York was the last stop on the 777 tour. The show was cool. How was the show? It was the same show every day. So at that point, I knew the set list and I went off because, you know, when Rihanna performs, I perform, especially What's My Name, because that is my motherfucking song, okay? It was amazing. She did her thing every night. Flyest bitch every night so bad. I don't even understand how one person could really be that bad. It don't even make no sense. After the sixth show in London, we head to the airport and get on the plane. Let me tell y'all something. I slept all day in that hotel room, but when I got on that plane, you would have thought I still ain't sleep in 7 days because I sat in my seat. I put a cover over my head and I went to sleep. Like, the lights, we were still boarding the plane. The lights were still on. People were in the aisles, still getting adjusted to their seats. And I was knocked the fuck out. Like, when I tell you knocked out, I woke up and we were in Jersey. How I sleep a whole, like, I missed takeoff. Like I said, we were still boarding the plane and I woke up in Jersey. I was so exhausted. I slept that whole plane ride. But let me tell you, throughout the whole tour, they had meals on the plane, they had drinks on the plane, they were really, really accommodating. The staff was great. I know I got a little irritated with them because of my bag, but you know. So we get to New York. Well, actually we arrived in Newark in Jersey. And let me tell you something. I'm at the baggage claim with my friends getting their bags, and I seen my bag and it was like, thank you God, because my bag was there. And I grabbed my bag and I hugged my bag so tight because I really thought I was never gonna see my belongings again. I was so like emotional. I was like, yes, my things. So I get to New York. My mom, they actually had a hotel for me in the city, but I was like, bitch, I'm home. I'm going home. So my mom and my grandpa picks me up from the airport, and then I go home. I rested for only a few hours because that night was the last show. New York City was her last stop. So we still had one more show to go to. So I came home, relaxed for 3-4 hours, and was back out in the city. And let me tell you, it was at Webster Hall. And let me tell you, we had a blast. I think Sweden and New York were my two favorite shows because, you know, all our people were there. It was just so much fun. She had an event before the show at Best Buy for a CD signing because Unapologetic had just came out. On my way to the concert in a cab, I got in a car accident, like a whole car accident. Like somebody dead hit the cab that I was in, and we like, mister, we got somewhere to be. Like, I'm not sitting here going, like, I'm not doing this with y'all. So we have somewhere to be. I'm not doing this. Like, it's not happening. But then we went to the show. Oh man, it was so turned up. But we were turned up. You can't tell us nothing about New York, okay? It was the best time. And then the next day was Thanksgiving. We went the week before Thanksgiving, and when we came back, it was the day before Thanksgiving. This was a crazy experience. This was a phenomenal experience. This was a fun experience. This is an experience I will never forget. This is an experience that I am forever grateful for because Rihanna chose us. And she didn't have to. She doesn't have to do anything that she does for us. So, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was amazing. I had a blast. Even though I lost my luggage and I was a little salty for a little while, it was still an experience. I've been to places that some people would never get to say that they've been to. Even though it was only for a day or a few hours, that passport got stamped. And it was just great. I had a great time. All in all, it was a great time. It was an amazing experience. And I just can't wait to go visit these countries back that I had an attitude in because my clothes were missing. And hopefully I'll be a little more skinnier and a little more flyer. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you guys for watching. I have a lot of more stories. So, hit me up and let's talk. Enjoy your day. Be kind to one another. Peace, love, and palm trees.